Hey, what's going on, you guys? Mike and Jamie back with episode 87 of Mirrorless Minutes. And just want to make a note here. If you watched or listened to the last episode, you might have noticed that I gave you the wrong episode number. I think I might have been a little excited for that.
Was that an Easter egg that you planted?
Something. It was something. It was some kind of egg. It was a mistake, I guess. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And I have not even had a chance to really get myself situated or prepared even for tonight's episode. Hence the reason I am on my laptop on the opposite side of the room tonight, standing. I'm at my standing desk, I guess. So, okay, so where do we start, Mike? You wanted to start off kind of talking about where we were at for like 5 days?
Yeah, we could. Let's start right there. So, the last 5 days, I guess. Well, actually, it was Friday to Tuesday for us.
Right.
We were in San Francisco for our Visionary Summit, and this is the first time since I've been in the program, and I think even since Jamie's been in, that has been outside of going to either New York or Pennsylvania, their corporate office of Olympus. So huge change for us, plus travel across the country, huge change in that sense too. It was, I thought, and I think we all thought it was going to be really cool to be there. Different than the other ones, but boy, this exceeded expectations 5 times over, because the added bonus this time is they invited what they now call is super fans with a loud bang in our super fans, and which really we knew almost all 10, and if we didn't know 10, we knew them in the first, the other 2 we might have known in the first 20 minutes.
Right.
It was like I was trying to think of it before we started, and I'll let you tell everybody what super fans are, but it felt, when it was all done, and you tell me if you felt like this, didn't it feel like a great workshop that we sort of ran? I mean, how you feel? Yeah, when you have a great workshop with a lot of great people, a lot of great photographers, I always walk out, I don't even feel like I taught anything. It was more, I feel like I learned more about stuff from all of them. It was just a great back and forth, and that's how this one felt for sure.
That's a good way of putting it too, because it felt more like a workshop and less like a press event. I don't know exactly. It was a unique situation because Olympus, they'll do press events where they bring press in to show off new equipment, things like that, but they've never really done anything quite like this. They did something last year with a few influencers that they brought to Whistler, but this was completely different because they brought 10 people across the country and also had them there with us, the whole Visionary team, save for one person. And the logistics behind managing that were just bonkers, to say the least. But everything worked out like super smooth, and it's like you said, it was basically just like this big hangout where everybody just shot and had fun and interacted, and it was a great social experience for sure.
Right. And I think if you, unless you're under a rock, you probably have seen a few pictures from some of these people, and if not, check out there's a hashtag for the whole thing called Capturing San Francisco. Check that out, hashtag Capturing San Francisco, and you'll see everyone's work in there. And I would say, I think our visionaries, I think we all do good work. But I check out the super fan stuff.
Yeah, you'll be pretty impressed.
I'm pretty impressed with what they've done, and I think our Olympus people, the people that work at Olympus, were a little blown away too. I know Eric, our what we'll call him our equipment guy, but much more than that.
Right.
Eric, boy, he knows everything inside and outside of cameras, and I know he always thinks, I think visionaries try to stump him with stuff. He came back going, geez, these people really know these cameras.
Yeah. Our first day there, that's what he was talking about, was that, that he was expecting maybe lower level questions, and he was just floored at the technical ability of pretty much everybody that was there. There was not a single person there that was a beginner.
No.
Or that wasn't familiar with the system, or that wasn't well versed in how to use the equipment, or that wasn't capable of creating great images, which again kind of leads them to be categorized as a super fan, because in addition to having those traits, they're all like extremely active on social media. A couple of them actually manage one of probably one of the largest Facebook groups for Olympus users. It's the OMD Education Group. Dean Davis, and I don't know if I ever asked Adam how to pronounce his last name right, but I want to say Favre.
That's what I always say too.
Like Brett.
Yeah, that's exactly. Listen to you, man. Going sports Super Bowl week
every once in a while. So Adam and Dean both manage that Facebook group, and it is a crazy good resource. If you've got any kind of a question about an OMD camera, that's where you go. You're going to get an instant response because it's global. So if you ask a question at midnight here, it's in the afternoon somewhere. So you'll probably get an answer pretty quick. So big kudos to those guys. And obviously making an asset like that paid off for them because there they were in San Francisco having fun on Olympus's dime and getting to play with new gear. Which is
right. They all shot with what, an EM1 Mark II.
Correct. Yep.
They got that, and then they got a couple new interesting lenses: the 17 and the 45 1.2.
The 45.
I figured I might have those sitting right there. Mine are back behind me.
And the 17.
Look at that. And they are nice.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, you know what? They're we've had the 25 for a while. We haven't had the 17 or the 45. But wow, this far exceeds expectations that I thought. You know, and the 45 is crazy.
It's
good,
ridiculously good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. So I just personally am dubbing these three the holy trinity of primes right now because I don't think there's anything quite like them that I've shot with yet. They're just ridiculously good.
Yeah, we need to tell all the dentists in the house that might be shooting that other Leica brand.
Yeah, I agree.
Check out these lenses,
Right. Totally. Yeah. So pretty incredible the way the system is shaping up now with these primes. I shared a shot that I took of you and I think a Walgreens in the Mission District, and I've already gotten a couple of people who messaged me and asked me what camera I was using, and I told them the Pen F, and they're like, "What lens?" And I told them, like, "Come on, really?" It almost looks not real. The depth of field is there's so much separation between you and the background, and the bokeh is just like butter. It is
it's crazy.
It is oh my
gosh. That was inside of a store.
Literally getting goosebumps talking about that because it is so good.
Yeah. And then I know I shot the 17 1.2 deep into the night. Not deep 1 a.m., but this, was whatever it was, 10:30 around Chinatown. I mean, it's dark.
Handheld shots.
But handheld shots, shooting with the Pen F in that monotone. Oh man. I mean, just the depth of those black and white shots. It makes it even look more like the film. We're supposed to say Tri-X, not that Tri-X stuff, but crazy.
So I don't want to just gush on and on about the lenses because I know we could do that. We really could totally do that. I think that at some point in time, we're going to be doing an image share, at which point probably I'm guessing a few of our shots, maybe most of them, will be shot on primes. So them a little bit more there. We also want to take a minute though and just mention a couple of things. Number one is that first of all, just for making this kind of, we're not grateful for the summit that we do every year, but getting something like this where you can hang out with the people that you interact with online and have an experience like this together. There's nothing like it out there. Pretty incredible. So everybody listening, I think we've said it before, be involved in our communities. And when I say our communities, I don't mean necessarily just Mirrorless Minutes, the Olympus communities, the OMD Educate, Worldwide Shooters, OMD Education Group, all of the enthusiast groups that are out there for OMDs, for Pen F, all of that. Be involved, be active. It's obviously paying dividends to people because this is not the last time this is happening.
This will happen again. Really embrace this. And I mean, you could see every one of the people from Olympus saying, we've got to do this again.
Right. They understand that, sure, it's a huge investment, obviously. I mean, I can't imagine the expense involved in flying so many people all the way to San Francisco and putting everybody up and feeding them and events and all that stuff. But they understand that the community that we have is different than any other brand out there. And if they help foster that community to keep it tight knit like it is and make it fun. They know that it's just going to keep growing.
Right.
So do that. Just be involved.
Just
it'll pay off maybe.
Yeah. For sure. You want to show some of the Superfans stuff maybe?
I am really looking forward to that. So again, I'm on a laptop right now. This is not my usual setup. So hopefully everything works all right. And I'm on like this stand and it's wobbly. So I apologize. It's not that I'm still in California suffering an earthquake. It's just my setup. So I'm sharing basically from a Facebook page. So hopefully this works out good. So you guys should see a Facebook page. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So hopefully this works out all right. And I apologize that it's going to be a smaller picture. It's just kind of what we're stuck with tonight. So this shot is from Dean Davis. I wish I could tell you what equipment he was using. I'm pretty sure it was an EM1 Mark II. And I am guessing that he either had on one of the primes or the 12-100 because it seems like that's what they shot with almost exclusively. This was coming down from a park whose name I cannot remember.
Ina
Coolberth. Right. Yeah. Okay, good. I was gonna say Ina Coolberth, but I didn't want to say it and then have somebody say you're a tool. Like, what's your problem? So we being a group of us went up to the park at the suggestion of several people and shot at the park, got some great views of the city and the Bay Bridge, and then afterwards walked down and back to the hotel. So this is one of Dean Davis's shots from there. Just astounding work. Keep in mind, we're walking back to the hotel. So Dean's shot here is handheld. And the next one is ridiculous. So this is a 180-degree panoramic 6-stop ND filter stitched together in Lightroom. And this was by Jeffrey McFeeters. I'm sure on a screen share this looks crazy, like tiny and thin. But if you can imagine that this pano was shot with the 45-degree in portrait orientation, think about how many frames went into this shot. I'm not even going to try to guess. I'm going to say many shots went into it. So fabulous shot by Jeffrey McFeeters here. Another one from Jeffrey and Muir Woods. Wow. Again, with the 45mm in landscape orientation for this one. He said it's not edited much beyond a basic curve to bring up the light and dim the shadows a little bit further. Another one from Jeffrey, and I'm just going to kind of fly through so I can get to some other people whom we have not shared their work. Jeffrey was pretty prolific in sharing people like Dean Davis here. All right. Jeffrey shared a lot of photos.
Yeah.
So this is Matthew Quinn being shot by Jeffrey McFeeters. I'm just going to kind of show you some of the people that were there. And this is Megan Crandallmeyer as well, being photographed by Jeffrey. And there's Victoria Diaz, one of our dear, dear friends who also was there. I'm feeling like Jeffrey's the only person getting photos here. I promise we'll get through some really quickly here. Okay, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey had some photos.
I almost feel like this is Jeffrey's album, but I swear you guys, if not, we'll get to some pretty soon here. So here's a couple from Jeff Sweet. So Jeff Sweet is local to San Francisco. So he didn't have to travel quite as far as everybody else to get to this event. But Jeff was he was the consummate tour guide. He was like awesome. He went out after hours and just went out of his way to make sure that we got shots that were outside of our scheduled events. So this was a shot that that Jeff did at Alcatraz, which was part of our group experience there. And I believe he was shooting with one of the new primes, one of the 1-2 primes when we were there. And this is, I think, on Baker Beach when we were, again, another outing with the entire group. Another one by Jeff Sweet, Jeffrey McFeeters. Okay, Jeffrey, you're kind of owning the stream here, buddy. But it's cool, though, that he shared so many. Hey, there's Scott Bourne, not photographing a bird at this point. Although
we're looking for a bird.
I think he was. You know, he swore that he was going to break out from, from his wheelhouse a little bit and shoot other stuff. And I seen some great shots from Scott from the weekend. But I think while we were here at Baker Beach, he did some birds at one point in time. All right, come on. I'm sorry, you guys. I feel bad that it's just Jeffrey's photos, but I don't want to back out from the album. Some of my photos, we don't want to see mine.
No.
So just me shooting the fans.
I wonder if we could roll through the actual page, because the page has got so
we can
many.
do that.
That might be, we might pick up some right there.
Are you watching?
Yeah, I'm watching. Is it?
Can you see the Facebook page? Me scrolling through it?
Nah, I don't see. It looks like you're on the photos page.
Yeah, the Facebook page. Like. Yeah, that's what I'm asking if you can see the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just do a few more. I'll just do a few more that aren't Jeffries. So this was by Adam Favre again at Baker Beach, Gentleman Juggling. Luckily, we're not about a quarter mile further north down the beach. There'll be some different things going on there. Because for those of you who don't know, Baker Beach at one end of it is a nude beach, which was kind of hilarious for some people to experience.
Yeah, just in one area though. Just not the whole thing. Yeah. So if you do go,
so you go to Baker Beach,
you can bring your family. Just don't go to that one area.
A great shot by Reba again in Muir Woods, and from what I've been told, their experience in Muir Woods was atypical. That it is not normally as incredible as these photos are making it look in Muir Woods. They had the perfect combination of fog that had rolled through, and then it just started to break as the sun came out. So they just got these like astonishing God rays, if you will, blasting through the trees. Just what a cool experience. I'll have to say I'm a little bit jealous about that. And then another shot by Reba down at Baker Beach, watching these surfers watch the sets roll in and playing out their next wave, I guess. And I guess I could try to go through and see if I could dig a few more out if you want me to. But I think that most of these are Jeffries, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess we can just kind of back out of that. Just wanted to take a minute, though, and at least show you guys some of the stuff that was created by people other than us. All the work was just astounding that everybody was creating. It's pretty mind-boggling. There's another private Facebook page where a lot of stuff has been going to that Olympus set up. And I'm not going to share that page or whatever, but I think on the next show, maybe we'll share a few more as people have time to get home and go through their images and work on stuff and figure out what they want to share. We'll share a few more because it is definitely worth sharing their work.
Yeah, and maybe even just, I know there's like some of those super fans that were there are watching tonight, and I'm sure they may watch the show over the next week. Maybe submit 2 or 3 over to us.
Yeah.
I don't even message them or something, and your 2 or 3 best, and we can get them online. It'd be great to show. I mean, they're all good, but I'd encourage you to put in that hashtag.
Yeah.
Capturing San Francisco. Just look at some of the stuff out there.
Yeah, definitely do that. Like Mike said, and not just everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, because everybody's posting their photos everywhere. It was one of the things that Olympus asked them to do. Didn't force anybody to do anything. They just said if you'd be so kind as to share what you're creating here with the hashtag Capturing San Francisco. And again, being the kind of community we are, everybody's obliged and been sharing a lot of just, again, astounding work from this event. I know that you and I will probably share a few, and then one of the photos, and I didn't share it here, but if you just look up Capturing San Francisco, the hashtag, you'll come across the photo that I'm going to reference here later. When I want to give a little tip, because I think that I've gotten a little feedback lately that there's a lot of talk and not necessarily a bunch of information all the time, but that's fine. That's kind of what we do, though, is we just talk. Yeah. We're like those two guys. But I want to every once in a while just throw out a tip or two here for people to try. And then we've got something we're going to do at the end of the show too, which will be pretty cool. It's been a minute since we've done any kind of a giveaway, so
guess what?
We might be due. Yeah. So do you want to share first, Mike? Because I've been running my mouth for like 10 minutes nonstop.
No problem. I know you're working, trying to find the shot. So yeah, we'll let's go. I try to do it in order of when we got there and everything as the share thing here. So this was the first night. In fact, that one panel you saw, this is the same spot, I believe, that we were on Treasure Island. If you get over to Treasure Island or you're in San Francisco, it's just run across the Bay Bridge right here, and beautiful sunset that night. We might not have got the so-called burn that we were thinking we were going to get, but hell, it was a great night. to be out there. And believe me, you know, after being on a plane all day long, we hit the hotel and I don't think we had much more than 20 minutes to turn around and jump back into a car and hurry up and get here for a sunset. So, but this shot here is with the 7-14. I've got I think it's the 6-stop, maybe the 3-stop grad from Nisi on there. And it's actually an HDR shot put together in Aurora HDR. It was, this was just as that sun was dipping below the city there. So real fun area to be in. And then, like everyone always says, when you're shooting, always turn around. You know, there's the tip. If you haven't heard that 100 times, start to do it. And, you know, the other side of the Bay Bridge is pretty cool too. And it got a little darker. So I walked over to the other side, and I would not condone this, but there was a great area to shoot. The only problem was it says don't cross police line. So unfortunately, I probably didn't listen. And it wasn't really a police line. It was just a pole. But I went over there and got this great shot that night of the other side of the Bay Bridge. And these shots, except for this first one here, the rest of my shots were right out of the camera into the iPad and put out that night. So some of these you may have seen. So these aren't processed, these next few shots here at all. They're out of the camera through the iPad and out. So, and as we were, as the sun was going down, as you can tell, I wanted to get some shots. I had the TG5 with me. And if you're not familiar with the TG5 and in the EM10 Mark III, they've got these scene modes. And there's this one is portrait night landscape. I know I'm getting it wrong, but it's portrait nightscape mode. And it throws a fill flash in with still letting you expose the background. And it's a great shot of Jamie with that little handheld camera, still exposing the city and the beginning here of Blue Hour, you know, and getting the nice light and flash onto your face. And at the same time, no red eyes, anything like that. That's definitely direct out of camera, just posted right there. Actually, I think I did that night. And then we talked a lot about the 17-12 on the Pen F. This was one of those real late nights in Chinatown walking through, and this is through a glass store window, excuse me, through a glass store window with all these little, obviously cats, all these arms, which you don't see, they're all flipping up and down, which really was pretty nice to see. But that 17-12 focus on just, you can see the back and the bokeh on that was amazing. The things you're going to be able to do with this lens, once I start getting around more with it, are going to be great. Then that next day we went over to Alcatraz. We were talking about that a little bit, and Alcatraz is full of great pictures, but this is one of the towers there at Alcatraz as you're walking around. And a lot of us, I think, might have shot in black and white around Alcatraz that day. It was very bright outside, and the inside looked really sharp in black and white. But you know, these seagulls, I don't know. You know, Jamie can mention this too. I think we all did. You know, we've all seen seagulls. These things were like seagulls from Jurassic Park or something.
They were big, really big,
huge seagulls.
They were big.
I don't know what
they were. Yeah, they were so big. Tracy was like, check out that. Look at how big that seagull is. They're big.
Yeah, they're like condor seagulls, I guess they're called. But lined up perfectly, posed there, and it only took us 25 minutes to get the shot. No, it didn't. It was just an instant with the Pen F and the 17. Actually, you know, yeah, I had the 17 on there at this time. We were pretty close to that. Then the next day, I believe the next day, yeah, after that, yeah, we would have been, or maybe that afternoon. I'm all confused which one that. Oh, it was the next day. We were in the Mission District, say that fast, in San Francisco, doing some street shooting. So I was absolutely blown away to be there doing some street shooting. As you can tell, we've done a lot of landscape, so I was having fun with it. But boy, I got in the street, I started feeling a lot better about things, and we met up with this guy. I think a few of us got pictures of him, but he put himself behind the right backup for sure. Of this alley, the Clarion Alley, it's called, full of graffiti and wall art. And he was a lot of fun to mess with, but I use the 17 here too. And it's, and even going through here, it's hard to tell how sharp that is on the thing. And then one last one, I'm going to go back to Alcatraz, and I had to share a 360. And I titled this one, you may have seen it out there, Welcome to the Rock. Just, having fun with the 360 in this huge courtyard out here. I can only imagine what took place in this courtyard back in the day. And then as you can see, here's the prisons up here, and there's that tower that we were near and everything. So, but that was a lot of fun. So that is mine. And now if I could just tell it to stop screen sharing.
That's
okay.
Boy,
Google is not having fun tonight, are they? No, there it is. Is it back? I'm back. Okay.
I'm back.
All right.
All right. So I'll just kind of skate through these really quick. Again, just wow, what an experience. Mm-hmm. All right. So I am up and sharing, I believe. You see it? We're good. Okay. So yeah, first night, Treasure Island. I mean, if you're following that hashtag, capturing San Francisco, you're going to see a lot of different takes on this location. I think we had probably 8 or 9 people there. Everybody, just kind of posted up along the bay there. And this was just mine. So I shot a lot of high res on this trip. And that's just something that I haven't been doing a lot of. But this is a single high-res image that I just seen how far I could push it, because if you're shooting at sunset and the sun setting behind these buildings, you can see the right-hand side of the buildings are lit up because the sun is just setting off to the right of them and behind them. So you get a lot of deep shadow on the front of the buildings. They were pretty much silhouetted out on the original image. So I did, like I said, a lot of high-res shots and just wanted to see how far I could push the amount of detail in a single raw file from the high res. So this was shot with the 12-100 on the EM1 Mark II, and I was on a tripod. And this shot, I know for a fact, did not have a filter on it yet, although I did shoot a lot with the Nisi filters when we were there. And then coming back, I think this was like maybe the next night. So these might be a little bit out of sequence, but our hotel overlooked this park in Chinatown. We were literally one block off of Chinatown. So and there's not very likely that anybody watching this episode used to be a skateboarder in the late 80s to early 90s, but the spot is synonymous with skateboarding from that era. So when I saw it, I had to take a photo of it. And this is shot with the Pen F and the 17mm 1.2. And this is, of course, a handheld shot just to see, what I could do with a handheld shot. But then again, normally if you're shooting at like 1.8 or 2.0 or something like that, the exposure time would have been quite a bit longer. But when you're shooting at 1.2, the shots that used to be a long shot are now actually relatively quick shutter speed. So it was really easy to pull that shot out. This next one is shot again. This is with the 45-1.2, and this is Jeffrey McFeeters, and we're all lined up to go to Alcatraz. And like you said, a lot of us were shooting in black and white that day. It just seemed kind of fitting going to Alcatraz to shoot that. And like you mentioned as well, it was a blue sky and just really harsh sunlight. So playing around in black and white just kind of was natural move for me. So this is straight out of camera with the little custom black and white setup that I like to do from the EM1 Mark II. And yeah, so there's Jeffrey McFeeters. And next is Vicky. So Vicky shared a photo. Actually, the photo that she's shooting right there, she shared it and asked if I had the photo of her that I shot at the same time. So, of course, I want to share that as well. Again, another one with the 45. Actually, yeah, 45-1.2. Again, straight out of camera. Nothing crazy technical there, other than the fact that you can hit focus really good with those lenses really quickly. This is Jerry James. He's local to Michigan. And if you've seen any of my lighthouse photos or any of the lighthouse photos, chances are he's around somewhere in those photos in the background making his own images. He was one of the super fans that was brought along on this journey as well. What you don't see is behind Jerry is Alex McClure shooting Jerry. So I've got another shot of me standing to the left of Jerry, shooting Jerry with Alex in the shot. And you know, when you're with a bunch of photographers, you're bound to do some crazy photography inception type photo. Okay, so this is the one where I wanted to talk about like some sort of a tip. Now, I mentioned earlier that I shot a lot in high res mode, and that's what this photo is. But it's a little different than just a typical high res photo because you can see in the bottom center of the picture that looks like smoke or fog, and that is actually from waves crashing in and out. So what I'm actually doing here is a long exposure high res shot, and I accomplished that by stacking up a 6-stop ND filter and a medium graduated neutral density filter from Nisi. I put those on and set the camera in high res mode and just basically captured a long exposure high res shot. Now, why do that versus just a long exposure, or why do that versus just a single high res shot? And the reason being is that if you do just a long exposure, you don't have the amount of dynamic range or color depth that you would get from doing a high res shot. And if I just did a high res shot versus a long exposure, the water wouldn't look quite the same as that. The high res shot works best on stationary subjects, but I've personally found that kind of a way to get around that limitation is just to do a really long exposure. So any of the strange artifacting that might show up if you had like running water or moving leaves or anything like that kind of gets taken out of the equation with a really long exposure, because now you just have motion blur and not any kind of strange artifacting from the sensor shift technology. So kind of a cool way to use two techniques and get something that probably isn't quite possible. Well, it's definitely not possible with these cameras without doing it this way. But even at that point, I think you get a little bit more than you might from any other kind of camera by doing it this way, especially given the article that was just published that mentioned that the EM1 Mark II's high res mode has more dynamic range than any full frame camera on the market. So again, there's kind of some perks to doing stuff a little differently. And that's what this was. And this was shot at Baker Beach. Behind me in this shot, probably 50 feet away, was a new gentleman doing calisthenics, which I, of course, ignored the entire time I was shooting there. It was a little uncomfortable, but it was an adventure to say the least. And this was in the Mission District. Definitely not my wheelhouse. This is Mike's area of expertise, but I still had a lot of fun just kind of watching what Mike was doing and just kind of following along and just, you know, trying to do it as well. So this is shot with the 45 millimeter f1.2 straight off of the Pen F with a custom color profile that I kind of cooked up when we were out walking. And it's the same with this one as well. Just this dude with a bandana. He was like the scooter band. I don't know, unique and cool. So I shot him again, the 45 millimeter f1.2. Both of these two images that I just shared were with the Pen F, again, straight out of camera with the custom color profile. And don't look so sad, Tracy. This was our last night as a group. We're having dinner at this great Italian restaurant. I think everybody was just a little bummed out. So I hope Tracy's not mad that I shared this picture. She just looks so sad. But I think everybody was a little bummed out that that it was coming to an end. And this is with the 17 millimeter f1.2 straight off the camera from the Pen F. Just wanted to show just how soft and dreamy and creamy that bokeh can be with this lens. I just love it. And I'm going to end it on an awesome note, just a completely freaking awesome note. So this is, I think we have everybody that was part of the Superfan group represented in this picture, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we do. They're all there.
Yep.
Big thank you to Matt Quinn. He's on the left-hand side in the black shirt in the foreground, just to the right-hand side of Mike, or, well, the left in the image. He's using his Mavic to take this group photo. And like I said, everybody that was part of the Superfan experience there, everybody was so freaking cool. And it was like, I don't know, it was just a big honor for me to meet them. It was cool, man. It was just, I don't even know how to say it. It was cool. And hopefully we all get to hang out again soon. I'll hang out with Jerry. I mean, the dude lives right here, so of course I'm gonna hang out with him. But I hope I get to hook up with everybody else again in the near future. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it's so much fun with you know, because we talk to these people so much online, and you feel like you know them, and then when you get there, you do know them, and they're even better because it's a human instead of
Yeah,
an online person. You
right.
know, I was going to say you wanted to share one more tip. I think you can do it pretty quick. You want to share your special little custom black and white
Yeah,
uh,
sure. Yeah, I can.
tip.
I'll do it right now.
I mean, I know we can't necessarily put it all on the camera, but or
Right.
on the screen maybe, but
No, but I can explain it though. So
yeah.
on any of your Olympus cameras, this should work. Any
Mhm.
of them in the pen or the OMD line. I'm not going to speak about the tough or the stylus or those. But if you're looking at your rear display in the super control panel, in the upper right corner, you'll have a color profile or a color mode. Right now, mine is set to natural, and you can actually change that.
Mhm.
But what I suggest you do is this is going to be hard to, I'm doing it on the super control panel here. Let me turn the
Yeah.
mic so you can hear the dulcet tones of Jamie explaining this. So, so on the super control panel, hit OK. We're going to go to custom. Okay. And you hit OK. So now we're in a custom mode, right? And I'm taking the long way around doing this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is probably not the best way to do this. So you set the saturation to +2, and you set your contrast to +2. Did I say saturation or did I say sharpness? It was supposed to be sharpness.
Yeah, sharpness.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I probably shouldn't be doing it this way.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
you can tell, hey, this is real live TV or real
right,
live video.
right. Yeah.
We didn't put this in the notes that we were going to do this tonight.
Right. Yeah,
And
he's
so
put me
I
on the
launched
spot.
this on Jamie, and I really put him on the spot. But I
Um,
know you put your sharpness to 2, your contrast to 2, and
and you
then
set it
when you were
to,
shooting, do you use the red filter
I
or
use the
did
red
you?
filter. So you want to go into you want to set it to monotone, and
Yeah.
your color profile is going to be monotone, and then you're going to set your sharpness and your contrast to +2, and the red filter, or set the color filter to red. There is another one for color tone. You don't want to mess with that because that's going to
Right.
end up making a sepia tone or something like that.
Yeah, unless you're really looking for something crazy like
Right.
that. Yeah.
The black and white images that I shared, those were all shot that way. And I know that there are some images that the super fans created as well. I think I showed a few people how to set that up when we were there, and I know
Mhm.
that they switched over and started using that as well.
Yeah, and I think
Camera
one of
back
the
here.
one of the things too is if Jamie's talking about using the red, and that really just hits those blue skies and makes them dark. I know that's
Right.
one of the things that red filter does and then flip it around. If you're going to go into
Like
the
street
Mission
shooting.
District or Chinatown, flip it and go to the yellow filter, and you'll make people the color of people skin really deep. And that's a cool shot you got of that guy on that bike, by the way. I didn't see that one. I like that one a
lot. So I'll put a link actually in the show notes for this to a YouTube video that I did that shows you how to set that up. Yeah. And it's an older video because I set it up to shoot square format as well, because that was before Instagram let you do your native format. So if you're still a square shooter for Instagram, this video is 100% on point. And if it's not, just use the rest of the tip minus the aspect ratio setting.
Right. Exactly.
One more thing.
Well,
one more thing.
We
got one more thing. One more thing, everybody. Okay, so while we were there, we got to again hang out with all the members of the Visionary team, including the newest member of the Visionary team, Mr. Scott Bourne. I'm sure if you're a Micro Four Thirds shooter, and especially if you're a birder, you know who Scott Bourne is. Yeah. Scott Bourne also has recently become the president of Skylum. And if you're familiar with LUMINAR or Aurora HDR, then you know what Skylum is. It's the company that developed those two pieces of software.
Yeah, Mac Fun.
Yeah, it used to be Mac Fun back in the day, but if you want to sell it
back in the day.
Yep, if you want to sell it to Windows people, you can't be called Mac Fun anymore. So while talking with Scott, Scott, just kind of said, "Hey, I like your guys' show. You guys are, doing cool stuff. You want to give away a copy of Luminar?" Yeah, we definitely would. He said, do you want to give away a bunch of copies of Luminar? We're like, yeah, of course we do. So we're going to start giving away some copies of Luminar. And the way that's going to work, super easy. You just need to go over and like the Mirrorless Minutes Facebook page. We're the only Mirrorless Minutes Facebook page out there, so you should have no problem finding it. Go over there, like the page, and you'll see a pinned post asking if you want to win a copy of Luminar. And if you do, just make a comment under that post saying, I want to win, or give it to me, or I have it coming, or whatever you want to say. One other caveat, tag a friend in that post. We're trying to build up the followership here. We're trying to gain some momentum. You never know. Who knows where this whole thing could go, but we want to grow it. And you guys have been awesome so far. We generally don't ask too much of you, so we're hoping that maybe you can tag a friend and who knows, maybe win a copy of Luminar. You know, that they do have Damn coming soon, and that's not a curse word, YouTube, so don't make this an adult-only video.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't drop us.
Right. No. So we'll leave it at that. We're going to announce who won it. It's just going to be a random drawing. We'll announce it on the next episode of Mirrorless Minutes, and you might win a copy of Luminar. What do you know?
Yeah, and if you don't win this time, we're going to come up with some more ideas, and I'm sure you'll keep listening to come back because it's a great product. So,
what you got going on there?
Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, don't forget. Now, let me move this.
There we go.
Now you're not gonna hear it.
There we go.
Mirrorless Minutes T-shirt in the house.
Right.
So where do I get it? I don't know, Jamie. Tell me. Where should?
Oh my. So just go to teespring.com/mirrorless minutes, and you should be able to pick up your very own Mirrorless Minutes shirt. Yep. And before I say that that's a fact, let me just double check that URL. Actually, it is, and it'll be in the show notes anyways. If you guys want to get your own Mirrorless Minutes t-shirt and support the cause, because we're a cause, right? I guess whatever.
No, it's a cause. We both are causes.
I know my wife would probably think, you know, there's a cause for something, but anyways, you guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Maybe we'll be a little more calm down and organized and all that good stuff. But, and we're going to announce who won a copy of Luminar. So I guess that's it.
That's it.
Good to go. We're good to go. All right, you guys take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And again, thanks for being a follower and subscriber, man. You guys rock.
That's right. See you. Take it easy, everybody.